Okay, so a little problem here. Let me just show you this. This particular handout, I put it on Google Classroom, and if you scroll down to the last 2 pages, it has all the answers, right? It's in red, and you can check with your work. I'm going to make a video on some of the problems, not all of them. It's too much, and hopefully it'll hit the questions that you may have. The other handout, where it had word problems, I gotta find it. When I find it, I'll make the video. So it's 2 separate videos. All right, first one. Well, first thing here is I have 2 angles. If I have 2 angles in the triangle, I can find this angle over here, right? Angle B. So that would be 180 minus 30 minus 61, right? 180 minus 30 minus 61. That's gonna give us 89. So I'm gonna write 89 degrees. Now, how does that help me? Now, if you now you gotta decide. Well, we're looking for this side here. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for this side here, and I'm gonna sort of trace it. This is what they want. That side there, and that side, also known as little a, right? Because it's opposite angle A. This is little b, and this would be little c. Now, you gotta decide whether you want to use cosines or sine. And in this case, you're probably better off using lot signs. So if you use lot signs, you're going to say A sine of 61 equals B, which is 8, sine of 89, and then equals C, which I don't know, sine of 30. And let me highlight what we want. We want only, according to this problem, we're only interested in this guy here. So I don't care about this. I'm going to cross it. Hopefully you don't do that. Don't make it messy. Just to show you that I don't need that. Right? That question's not asking us. Now I'm going to uncross it, and I'm going to set up a proportion. Now remember, in the proportion, I have the angle here of angle A. I have angle B. I have side B, and the only thing I don't know is side A. So I can solve this because I will have only one unknown variable. So we get A sine of 89 equals 8 sine of 61. We can isolate A, right? So we're going to divide this by sine of 89 and this one by sine of 89. It is that simple, ladies. Let's put that in the calc. 8 times sine of 61 equals divided by sine of 89, enter, and we get 6.998, and we're going to round this to, I know it says, well, nearest 10th, but we usually, in your test, you're going to do nearest 100th, but this rounds out to 7. So A, little a, measures 7 units. That's it. For this one, same thing, where you're looking for this angle over here. You know, if it's this simple, you're looking for that angle. And we can also use lot signs. So if you look at this, it will say little. I mean, label little a, little b, little c. Notice that for c, I don't have anything, but we don't really need it because I go a, which is 25, sine of angle A equals b, which is little b, which is a side b, which is 28 over sine of 62. I can set up the other ratio, which is c sine of angle C, right? But because I'm not interested in that, I don't really care. So cross multiply these two, and we're going to use an inverse function here because we're looking for the angle. So it's a little different than the first one. So let's cross multiply. We get 25 sine 62 equals 28 times sine of A. Right? We're going to isolate this guy over here. Let me highlight that. Then we're going to isolate this guy. But first, let's divide that by 28, and then divide this side by 28. Cross, cross. And let's see what that looks like in the calculator. We get 25 times sine of 62 divided by 28. Enter. In your calculator, you should have one ugly number that looks like this. Dot, 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 and then sine of A. Right? Now we're going to use the inverse function. So we go A, inverse sine would be this one, 0.78834, that whatever number you have in your calculator, not whatever number, but that number you have in your calculator. So second function pi, second function pi, the inverse function is number 4, bring it up, enter, enter, and we get that A is approx 52.03 degrees. Okay. So we did a problem where we had to find the side. We just did a problem where we had to find the angle. 3 and 4, actually 3 and 4 I should do, because 3, we don't have any angles. And so the first two I use sine, right? So now if you look here, and if let me set up, let me write this is a little, oops, let me set up and write that this is a little a, this is a little b, a little c, right? So I know the sides, but I don't know the angle. Let me set up law sine. So if you set up the 3 ratios, I'm going to get a, which is 12, sine of angle a, which I don't know, little b, which is 18, sine of angle b, which I don't know, and then c, which is 28, sine of angle c. Now notice that if I cross multiply any of these two ratios, whether it's these two or these two, and when you cross multiply, you end up with 2 unknowns, because this guy here and this guy here is not known. So you can't solve it. So law of sines, right, as of now, it's not to our advantage here. So I'm not going to use law of sines, but I'm going to use law of cosine. So they're asking us for this angle. So remember, right, it's always going to be the side opposite of the angle, in this case opposite angle c, so it's going to be c squared, equals the two adjacent sides, a squared plus b squared in this case, minus 2 times the same two sides, ab, and then cosine of angle c, which we're trying to find. Now, I know c, I know a, I know b, A again, and I know b, so that angle c is my only unknown, so therefore log of cosine is the one that I want to use. Let's substitute, so we get 28 squared equals 12 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times 12 times 18 cosine of angle c. So that's going to have to do a few. 28 squared is 784. 144 plus 18 squared, which is 324, minus 2 times 12 times 18 equals 432 cosine angle c. Let's combine some like terms. 784 equals 144 plus 324 equals 468 minus 432 cosine angle c. We're going to subtract 468 from both sides, right? I'm going to 784 minus 468. We're going to be left, and I'm going to continue here. 316 equals negative 432 cosine of c. Right? So now we're going to divide both sides by negative 432. Sorry. Sorry. And that goes away. You're going to get a decimal. I'm going to leave that as a fraction for now, or you can change the decimal, negative decimal. And we're going to take the inverse function, right? So c is inverse cosine of negative 316 over 432. Let's put that in the calculator. So second function, inverse cosine, it's number 5 in the calculator. I'm going to put a fraction, and it's going to be negative 316 over 432. Enter. And angle C is going to be 137.01 degrees, rounded to nearest hundredth. Okay. So you can tell that for this one, law of sines again was not useful. This one, so that one we found an angle, and this one they're asking for AC. So again, I'm gonna. Let me label things. This is little a, this is little b, this is little c. I'm going to set up law of sines. If you do law of sines, again, I only have one angle. So Little a is 20. Sine of angle A, I don't know. Little b is I don't know, over sine of 93. And then little c is 14 and over sine of angle C. Now, if you look at each ratio, here I don't know angle A, here I don't know side B, and here I don't know angle C. So, which means when you cross multiply any two, you're going to have two unknowns. So law of sines is it's not going to be useful for us. So law of cosines, I have the angle and the two adjacent sides, so I can use that. So we're going to go b squared in this case, right? B squared, the opposite of the angle that I know, equals the two adjacent sides squared, a squared plus c squared, minus 2 times those two sides, and then cosine of the given angle, 93. So let's substitute. So b squared equals 20 squared plus 14, oops, 14 squared minus 2 times 20 times 14 cosine 93. Right. So you can put all that in your calculator and then take the square root. I'm going to do it in steps. B squared equals 400 plus 196 plus, let me multiply this, not plus, minus 2 times 20. No, I'm just going to put everything in the calculator. 400 plus 196 minus 2 times 20 times 14 times cosine of angle 93. 2 times 7 times 14 times cosine of angle 93. And I get 600. So let me erase this. And all that equals 625.308, etc. Right? So now we're going to take the square root of both sides. That gets rid of our exponent here. So B equals 25 degrees, 25.01 degrees. Sorry, not degrees, units, because we're talking about the side. 25.01. Okay. If you look at your answers, the answer is 25 because they're rounding to the nearest 10. Okay. Right, I guess I'm doing a few. Solve each triangle. So now when they say that, we want to find all the measurements, all the angles and all the sides. So for this one, first thing you should always observe, if two angles are given to you, you can automatically find the third. So we can find angle C. And to do that, we do 180 minus 41 minus 64, and that's going to give us 75. So angle C is 75. Now, once you have an angle and it's and the side that's opposite that angle, you have all the values for C, then you know it's going to be law of sines. So if you set this up, little a, little c, and little b, it's going to be a sine of 64, b, which little b over sine of 41, and then little c, which we know both. Its side is 28 and the angle is 75. So let's cross multiply these two. They're adjacent and next to each other. So if you cross multiply, you get b sine of 75 equals 28 sine of 41. We're going to divide both sides by sine of 75. Right, that crosses over, and we get the measurement of side B. So we can go 28 times 41 over sine of 75, enter, we get 19.02. Okay, so it'll be 19.02. So now we're going to have to repeat the process, and I'm going to use, no, put an arrow here, I'm going to use this ratio and the first ratio. So A, we're going to multiply A sine of 75 equals 28 sine of 64. I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 75. right? And that's going to give us a little bit. So it's a little bit repetitive. 28 times 64 over sine of 75. Right? And that's going to give us, this little a is 26.27. Okay. So that's number 5. Number 6. All right, I'm going to do question 6 because I royally messed up on that before. So question 6, well, it says solve the triangle, so we need an angle. So let's just pick this angle here. Lost cosine, so we're going to do C, this is little a, we're going to go c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of angle C, which is what I'm trying to find. C is 17, A is 30, B is 20, minus 2 times 30 times 20, cosine of the angle, I don't know. 289 equals 900 plus 400. What is that? 2 times 30 times 20, which is 1200. Cosine of C. This is 1300. We're going to subtract 1300 from both sides. Yeah, 1300 minus 289 equals 1011, negative. Equals 1200, negative 1200 cosine C. I divide both sides by 1200. So cosine C, well, actually we can, this goes away. It's just not like too many steps. So let's find the inverse, right? Because that's what we need to find the angle. So the angle is going to be C, angle C is going to be the inverse of this guy here, which is positive, by the way. Okay. So angle C equals 1011 divided by 1200, right? And that's going to give us 32.59 degrees. So this is 32.59 degrees. Now that I have, for C, I have angle C and side C, and then I can use lost signs, so now it makes my life easier. So let's go 30 sine of A, B sine of B, and C 17 over sine of 32.59. And we just need one more angle, and then we can subtract everything from 180, right? So let's just do these two. So we get 20 sine of 32.59 equals 17 sine of B. We're going to divide both sides by 17. Let's figure what that out. 20 times 32.59 over 17. So if you do that, you should have 0.633674 dot dot dot. So let's find angle B, which is the inverse. Put that ugly number in there. We get that angle B is 39.32. Rounded. With this angle, 39.32. So to find angle A, that makes it the easiest thing to do ever. Minus 39.32 equals 108.09. That's it. I mean, a little bit of work, right? But not too bad. There's one more. I mean, Honestly, I messed up before, so the video is being edited. So 6 and 8 I messed up, so I'm redoing them again. I'll do 8. Eight and 6 are exactly the same. But little a is 11, little b 17. So I know I said I'm not going to do any of the same, but I'll do it anyway. So let's just go for angle A, okay? So we're going to use log cosines. We go a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of angle A, right? To find this guy right here. Times 10, cosine of A, 121 equals 289 plus 100 minus 2 times 17 times 10, which is going to give us 240. Cosine of the angle, I don't know. 389, right? So we're going to subtract 389 from both sides. And 121 minus 389, that's going to give us 268, negative, equals negative 340 cosine of A. And divide both sides by negative 340, that's going to give us a positive, right? So angle A, let's just do it all at once. Inverse cosine here, and we're going to put this number here, right? Or the decimal version of it, whichever you want. So second function, cosine 268 over 340. That's going to give us the angle A is 37.98. And just like we did in problem 6, you can now set up that's 3 proportions, find one more angle, and then you're going to have 2 angles. You can subtract that from 180. So 11 sine of 37.98 equals 17 sine of B equals 10 sine of C. Cross multiply those two. We're going to divide both sides by 11. Sine of B is going to equal to 17 times times 37.98 divided by 11. You're going to get this decimal number. Now we're going to find angle B. Take the inverse. And if you do the inverse of that, you get that angle B is 72 degrees. So I can come over here and write that this is 72 degrees. So angle C is just 180 minus 72 minus 37.98. 180 minus 180 minus 72 minus 37.98. Enter. And angle C is 70 degrees, 70.02 degrees. Okay. Alright, I owe you still one more video of that other file, the other sheet I gave you. I just gotta find it first. Let me do 7. So for 7, we know that, let's call this A, let's call this B, and let's call this C. So we're saying that C measures 110. Let me make that a little better. There. C measures 110. That's A and that's B. So little b here measures 35. Little c here measures 38. Okay, so we can use law of sines, right? Because for c I have both. I have little c and the angle. For actually, sorry, take that back. Let me label this A. I can't use law of sines because I only have no, I can use law of sines. So here's what we're going to do. A sine of A. I don't know anything about A, but B, I know that little b, the length is 35. Angle B, I don't know. That's okay. But C, the measurement of the side, little c is 38, and the angle is 110. Now I can do these two, find the angle, so let's cross multiply. So we get 35 sine of 110 equals 38 sine of angle B. I'm going to divide both sides by 38 first. And we're going to get 110 over 38. We're going to get this 0.86550 upward dot dot dot. I'm not going to write all the numbers. So now we're going to take the inverse. So B equals inverse sine. Put that number there. And let's see what we get. .59. So angle B is 59.94 degrees. I can come over here. I can tell you that's 59.94 degrees. Right? Now, if I know two angles, I can find what angle A is. Right? So it's angle A. Right? Angle A is 180 minus 110 minus 59.94. 180 minus 110 minus 59.94. That's going to give us that angle A. Put a little arrow over here. It's 10.06. Now I go back to my proportion here, and for angle A, which is at the bottom here, I'm not going to write sine of angle A anymore. I'm going to write sine of angle 10.06. So, and then for B, I'm going to change, instead of sine of B, because we just found that angle B, I'm going to write sine of 59.94. So notice that everything's complete, and the only thing I need is side A. So I'm going to use this guy and this guy. These are the two ratios I'm going to use to find little a. So cross multiply. A sine of 110 equals 38 sine of 10.06. I'm going to divide this by sine of 110. Divide this side by sine of 110. That goes away, and we get little a. With this one, we get 38 10.06 over 110. And angle A, sorry, side A is 7.06. There we go. Just completed the triangle. Okay, that's number 7. Let's see. Here we have two sides of an angle. Here we have, right? Then they ask us to find the area. All right. Let's do one more. Let's do number 9, and then I'll do the next section. So let's draw the triangle. Yikes. This is A. Let's make this B. Let's make this C. This is 107. Little c here is 23. And little b here is 14. Okay, so I can't use law of sines because I'm going to have 3 unknowns. So this is definitely low cosines, and this is little a. So we're going to start by finding little a. So it's a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of 109, angle a, or 107, sorry. A squared equals 14 squared plus 23 squared minus 2 times 14 times 23 cosine of 107. Okay, so a squared equals 14 squared, which is 196, plus 23 squared, which is 529, minus 2 times 14 times 23, enter 644, cosine of 107, which we could actually. So let's put all that in the calculator. 196 plus 529 minus 644 times cosine of 107. Enter. We get 913.29. We're going to take the square root of that. And a, little a, is 30.22. So I'm going to put 30.22. Now we can use law of sines to solve this. Actually, this triangle, now that I know, sorry, I should, this triangle is not correctly. It should have been drawn like this. Let me redraw that triangle because that's angle 107. Right? So there we go. A little better. 107. This is angle A. This is little b. Sorry, angle B, angle C. We know that this is 23. We know that this is 14, and we now know that this is 30.22. Okay, erase this. Now you can use law of sines, right? And if you want, little b. And if you want, we can do h equals sine of, sorry, h equals b sine of a, just check the height. H equals 14 times sine of 107, 14 times 107, and that's going to give us 13.3839. And notice that in this case, A is greater than B, and A is greater than H. So what does that mean? It means that we can only have one triangle. So this, just to confirm, okay, and then we're going to set up law of sines. So we're going to go 30.22 over sine of 107 equals 14 over sine of B, and then 23 over sine of C. We only have to do this once. We're going to cross multiply these two. We're going to find angle B, and then we're going to subtract 180 minus angle B and angle A to get angle C. So that's the easy part. So we get 14 sine of 107 equals 30.22 sine of angle B. We're going to simplify. We're going to divide this by 30.22. We're going to divide that by 30.22. And sine of B, let's get that number, 14 times sine of 107 over 30.22. That's going to give us this beautiful number, 0.44302, etc. Take the inverse, so sine 0.44302, dot, right? Enter, enter, and angle B is 26.30 degrees. What are we doing? Number 9? Yep. Angle B is 26.30 degrees. We can now subtract 180 minus 107 minus, what is that? 26.3, and we get that angle C is 49.4. No, I subtracted that. 180 minus 107 minus 26.3 equals 46.7. Yikes. There we go. 46.7. That's it. I'm not doing number 10. Okay. I'm going to go back to 6, though. Okay. Oh, my God. God bless you if you're watching this. Again, let's start with angle C. Right? So let's label this. We're going to call this little a, little b, little c. So to find that angle, we're going to go c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of angle c. C squared is 17, a squared is 30, b is 20, minus 2 times 30 times 20 cosine of c. Let's find the angle c. So 17 squared is 289, 900 plus 400 minus 2 times 30 times 20 is 1200 cosine of c. Let's simplify things. 289. Oh, I see what my problem was. So 900 plus 400 is 1300. I think I know I messed up before. Cosine of c. We're going to subtract 1300 from both sides. This goes away. I'm left with 1200 cosine of c. 289 minus 1300 equals 1011 negative. Divide that by 1200. Divide that by 1200. It's going to be positive. So c is going to be the inverse, right, of the positive of 1011 over 1200. So function cosine fraction 1011 over 1200 equals, oh shoot, 1011 1200, and the angle is angle C (32.6 degrees). 60. Actually, I apologize, it's just 32.59. So all that to know that angle C is 32.59. Erase this. Now, we have to figure out if this is 1, 2, or no triangles. So, height of this triangle is this side here, which I'll highlight in green. This side, 20, times the cosine of, the sine of 32.59. Height equals 20 times second function sine of 32.59, and we get that the height is 10.77. Now we're going to compare this guy here. This is what the side that you have to compare. This side, right, is that side, which in this case is called C, right? Is C greater than the height? Yes, it is. Is C, now compared to side B, less than B? Yes, it is, right? So C, this side here, is greater than the height that we just found, and that side C is, guess what? Less than this guy, right? Less than B. So in this case, remember what we get. So if it's one is greater than height, but less then this side, the green side here, then this is, oh, yuck, 2 triangles. Okay, well, it's not that bad. All right, so, you know, it's a little work, but you get the price. So we have to do 2 triangles, and the thing is, when I was, and I'm going to edit this video later, but when I was doing number 6 before, I kept thinking I got the wrong answer, but I didn't check for the height. So I kept getting the angle B for the second triangle, or for the other triangle. There's 2 triangles, right? But I didn't account, and I completely forgot this step. So let's do the first triangle. So let's set the loss sign. So it's little a, which is over sine of a. Little a is actually 30. Sine of a. Little b, which is 20. And then sine of b, which I don't know. And then c, I do know, is 17. And the angle we just found, which is 32.59. So let's do these 2. All right, and then we're going to get this angle right here. So we get 20 sine of 32.59 equals 17 sine of b. And then divide both sides by 17. And we're going to use the inverse eventually, right, to find angle b. But let's do that. So 20 times sine of 32.59 over 17, enter. So let me just show you what you have in your calculator. Dot, dot, dot. So b is going to be the inverse. 0.6336 dot, dot, dot. The inverse is 4, enter. And we get that the angle here is 39.3 degrees. So angle B is 39.32 degrees. So in this particular triangle, it's 32.32 degrees. I'll just write that this is, I'll write it like this. Now to find angle A, right, the top angle here, we're going to do 180 minus 39.32 minus what? Minus 32.59, and that's going to give us 108.9. Okay. Interesting. Hang on. So the other triangle, okay, would be, well, this would still be 32.59 angle-wise. But the other angle would be the difference, 180 minus 39.32 equals 140. So, draw it out. This would be 140.68. This would be try it a little better. There. No, that doesn't look right. The other triangle, there, sorry, that's better. So this would be one, trying to draw it a little better. would be 140 point. This would be 140.68. This is still 32.59. And then this angle over here obviously is going to be a little bit less, 32.59. 180 minus 32.59 minus 140.68. We get 6.73 degrees. Then we have the last one, which is finding the area. Okay. Man, this video is going to have a lot of editing. So, find the area. Okay, so let's go over the, let me draw a triangle here. A, B, C, little a, little c, little b. So we can use, it depends on what angle you have, right? So in this case, let's, well, in this case, you have this angle. So if you had angle A, right? If you had angle A, you would do half of B times C, right? Sine of angle A. If you had this guy over here, it would be half of A times C sine of angle B. And if you had this guy over here, it would be half of B times A sine of angle C. Okay. So in this case here, one thing we can do is find, find the angle. So the first thing we can do is find the angle. So 180 minus 29 minus 109, that's going to give us 42. This is like 42 degrees over here. We need one more side. Okay, so I'm going to use law of sines and actually find this side over here. So let's go. So this is little t, this is little s, and this is little r. So r sine of 29 equals t over sine of 109, and then s sine of, s is 16 sine of 42 degrees. So let's find little t. So let's cross multiply these two. So I get t times sine of 42 equals 16 times sine of 109. And divide both sides by sine of 42. That goes away, and t is going to be 16 times sine of 109 over sine of 42, and t is going to be 22.61. So let me go to the picture and go t equals 22.61. 22.61. Now that I have that side, remember, I can go half, so the area is going to be half of t, small t, times s times the sine of angle 29. So we're going to go substitute half times 22.61 times s, which is 16, times sine of 29. So 0.5 times 22.61 times 16 times of 29, enter, and we get 87.69. Area equals 87.69, and that's how you do it. So again, to find, basically what you need to find the area, we need, and I'm going to maybe highlight this, you need this, you need this, and you need this angle, right? So what? So you need that angle and the two adjacent sides. Okay, so in this case, we had this angle, we have three angles on one side, so what I did first was find this side. So once I found that side, I had this side, I had that side, and I had an angle. Okay, I'll do one more. Let's do this one, because I have three sides, but no angles. I can't use loss. What can I do here? I have to use log cosines. Okay, so let's find angle P. Okay, so this is little p, this is going to be little q, and this is going to be r. So to find p, we're going to do p squared equals q squared plus, plus r squared minus 2 times q times r, and then cosine of angle P, which is what we're going to find. Right? And once we have angle P, let me highlight this, we're going to have that angle, we're going to have the two adjacent sides, and we can use half, area is going to be half of Q times R sine of angle P. Right, so let's find P, we need P. So P squared is 13 squared, Q is 13 squared as well, and R is 11 squared, so minus 2 times 13 times 11 cosine of angle P. So 169 equals 169 plus 121 minus 2 times 11 times 11. Sorry, I meant 13 times 11. This should be 13. 2 times 13 times 11, which is 286 cosine of P. 169 plus 121 equals 290, so we're going to do 169 minus 290 minus 286 cosine of P. We're going to add 290. Sorry, am I? Sorry. Apologies. It's positive 290. Equals 290. So we're going to do minus 290 now. Minus 290. And we're going to get 290. 129, so 129 negative equals negative 286 cosine of angle P. We're going to divide both sides by negative 286, divide by negative 286. So cosine of P equals 129 over 286, that becomes positive, so angle P is going to be the inverse. 129 over 286, let's put that in the calculator. 5 fraction 129 over 286, and our angle P is going to be 63.19. So angle P, right over here, is 63.19. So this angle is 63.19. So area equals half of Q, which is 13, times R, which is 11, sine of 63.19. Let's put that in the calculator. 0.5 times 13 times 11 times second function 1. 63.19. For the love of God, give us the right answer. And the area is 14, 63.8. Why is this off? Why am I off here? 2 times 13 times 11. I'm off by a little bit. 286. I get 63. 63.19. Okay. Did I do everything correctly on this side? 69. 290. Oh, this should be 121. There's the reason. It's 121. Okay, so that should be a 1. That should be a 1. There's my mistake. So second function. It's going to be 121 divided by 286. Enter. So 64.97 is actually the angle. Okay. 64.97. So we're going, and then I'm going to replace this with 64.97. Try that again. 0.5 times 13 times 11 times 164.97. Drum roll, and please, and there's our correct answer. So area equals 64.79, which on your answer sheet rounds out to 64.8. Okay. All right. A little bit of work.